on this computer.
Are we starting?
We are starting right now. This is the
Wow.
start.
I'm not ready.
Heath,
No.
are you ready? We're starting
but-
right now. Here's the intro. Everyone be quiet. Welcome, everyone, to RB1: a Fantasy Football Podcast, part of the Fake Teams Podcast channel. I am your humble host and Jared Stidham, Pete Rogers, joined by some of the guys / new guys that you don't even know yet. Resident old man and esteemed botanist Clark Barnes, and the working girl and keeper of keys and grounds at Buccaneer Bandwagon Jordan Smith. And we are joined by Lord Commander of House Baseball and host of the Double Switch podcast, our very own Heath Capps. Guys, how are we doing? How was everyone's weekend?
Doing great, Pete.
I'm doing great. That was an excellent intro. But I might have to fight Clark for old man title.
I know.
Yes.
I'm just throwing it out there.
You're just throwing it out there. This is
excited.
a true battle for
Not an actual fight.
No. I think our tens of listeners would like to hear an actual fight. They wouldn't see it because we're not a visual medium. We're a podcast.
More of a verbal pugilism.
They hear the grunts and the groans.
Yeah. I'm just excited someone else might get my 20-year-old references on the podcast finally.
20 years ago, I was 16, probably.
Oh, man. Heath, me and you need to hang out and talk about how things were before the internet.
Well, that was sixth grade for me. It was pretty sweet.
I remember when the internet came in the mail. Okay, that's it.
Welcome to RB1: an old podcast, part of the Fake Teams Podcast channel. Jordan and I are getting aged out here.
No, you know what? I remember when you had the little disc. For
I remember
AOL.
the dial-up.
Yeah, that was tough.
Late at night,
time.
trying to sneak online without your parents finding out.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's making those loud noises that you just, Imagine if we could not quarantine or if we had to quarantine in that time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you it would be awful because Becca and I, in our quarantine this weekend, God bless the internet, binged watched The Tiger King, which was glorious.
This is another Titanic for me. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just so tired of hearing about it, but for no good reason at all, I'm out.
I missed the Titanic reference, but I'm out on Tiger King. I'm like, I can't do it.
Can't even. Oh my God.
In a
Can't
stunning turn of events, Pete, you're on your own for this one.
I'm on my own.
Oh, no.
I have not watched it, and I feel like because everybody else has already blown through it, it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to talk about it by the end of the week, so I don't feel like I should jump into it now.
That's fair.
Miss the boat.
Fair. This is a bummer. Jordan. You've really left me out to dry here. I normally I never trust Clark to know what I'm talking about or have seen what I'm talking about. But Jordan, you're normally my lifeline.
I know. I've seen the references. I've seen the Twitters, and I missed it. And I keep on getting told to watch it, but I don't know if I'm going to catch this one. I've been too busy on season 3 of Ozark, which also dropped on Friday.
That's sneaky good. I only watched one season, but really enjoyed it.
Becca's been trying to find a new show, and I have never seen it, but I feel like it's right up her alley of shows, and so I've been pushing her towards that because I've heard only good things.
It's great.
So it's I said no to Ozark. The wife suggested Ozark, and I said no, and then she turned on Tiger King. So it was my fault. I just ignored it. She had it on. So
how could you ignore that show? All right, we don't need to get into it, but it is the people on that show are just incredible.
I was knee deep in Fangraphs. I'm good.
Well,
no Tiger King.
There you go, and that's why you are Lord Commander of House Baseball. Even when a show of fully absurd humans are on TV, he's focused, getting baseball out to the masses.
I'm old and boring, so I told these two before you hopped on, so that's perfect. There you go with my.
That's
my
all
show.
our listeners need to take home with them about Heath, old and boring, which is going to make this show a great show because we're not talking football because there's nothing really happening in the football world today. Instead, we are focusing on the fantasy aspect of this podcast, and we are doing a best TV show draft. So that whole talking about Tiger King, talking about TV, pretty smooth transition by yours truly. So
work, Pete.
A+ hosting right here, giving myself a grade right off the bat. Now, this isn't your run-of-the-mill, quote, pick the best TV show draft. That would involve us talking about a lot of shows that Clark, as we've mentioned, has no idea about and probably has never seen. So instead, we are each operating as a TV channel and want to get as many eyes as possible because eyes equal money, and Bert's been putting the heat on me for a new dog collar, so Daddy needs to get some money fast. We've got 5 rounds of this draft, each round representing a primetime slot on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So this is the schedule of television shows that you are constructing. This is what people will be tuning in. Everyone wave to Becca.
Okay.
Podcast listeners, you can wave as well. She saw you. Obviously, once a show is picked, other channels can't choose that show because we can't have the same show running on different channels. That doesn't make sense. Now, to determine draft order, I did lie. We will be talking a bit of fantasy football here. To determine the draft order, we will each guess, and I have not done my research ahead of time, we will each guess how many receiving yards TJ Houshmandzadeh had in his 3rd year. And the closest person will get the first pick, and then we'll descend in how close people were.
Clarifying question.
Yes.
When we draft, is it snake?
It is snake. It is a snake draft.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So if you know what TJ Houshmandzadeh had in his 3rd season, you can pick how you want to answer it to determine where your draft order is.
Another clarifying question. Speaking of TV, Price is Right rules. Are we going closest without going over?
Yes, closest without going over. If you go over, you're immediately sent to the back.
673.
Clark has answered 673.
$1. No.
Right, 673.
Jordan, are you going or am I up?
3rd year. I'm gonna go with.
Let's not overthink this, boys.
Yeah,
this is such a hard.
I'm going. Heath, what do you have?
Right.
I'll go 1,300.
1,300. All right. I'm going 815.
770.
All right. He's going to have like 50. All right. I got the stats up right here. TJ Houshmandzadeh in his 3rd. Oh my God. Unknowing, in his 3rd year, he was injured and only played 2 games and has 0 receiving yards and 0 catches.
There we go, boys.
So
even $1 would have worked. Wow.
So we all went over.
What's year 4?
We'll do year. All right, yeah, we'll bounce to year 4.
I won. No. I get the first pick.
Everybody was over.
Doesn't matter. I was the least over. I win. Those are the rules. If we had asked more clarifying questions, everyone would have known that. But
this is true. So. No one asked clarifying questions. All right. So Clark has the first pick. Jordan has the second pick. I have the 3rd pick, and Heath gets the snake, which is exactly what he wanted.
Trash.
All right. Let me type this into my chart so that I can keep track of whatever. I can't believe he was injured that year. That's amazing. Oh, that was completely undone. Okay, Clark, the first pick in the best TV show / build your best channel draft. Who are you selecting?
All right, so lots of ways to look at this. Instead of following the prompt that Pete gave us, I decided to pick TV shows that I like the most. And, if my station only makes it a couple of years, I don't care. Sure. The obvious 101 and probably in contention of what a lot of folks are thinking is we're going to have The Wire on the Barnes Network.
That is
good 101 pick.
Never seen
God tier pick.
Don't care.
Oh, Heath. Oh my goodness. All right. And the other part of this is you have to then sit down and watch everyone else's channel through.
No, I really am gonna enjoy taking notes and catching some shows. Yeah. So
see, Clark is running his channel exactly like HBO. He's like, you know what? I'm going with the shows that I like. I'm not
PSA. So is the other guy.
Whatever everybody else wants.
Yeah.
So,
not trying to appeal to the masses.
I'm doing it too.
Clark is starting with the banger. And the nice thing about The Wire is that each season deals with like a different thing. So you can tune in. You don't need to, you watch season 1 and then you can tune in for season 2. You could even start with season, like you could bounce between seasons. You can do it however order you want. Clark has a lot of freedom here. This is a good pick, Clark. Well done. We're hyping you up. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, 102. Who you selecting?
So this one for me is probably my favorite show. I'm going to pick Game of Thrones, and I'm just going to slot it right in on the Sunday spot. I'm going to try to own the rest of the news cycle for the rest of the week. We're picking about Game of Thrones at the water cooler if we ever get back there.
Nice.
Mileage may vary on the final season, but
Yeah.
I'm adding this to my channel. When we eventually do the Jordan streaming service, I'll have a catalog of 8 seasons with, dozens of shows that I could put on there, and it's Game of Thrones. I love it.
I like it. Much like Die Hard, I am just choosing to remember the good times. So those 7 seasons of Game of Thrones were just masterful.
And you could really draw a lot of eyes, Jordan, if you decide as the owner of the channel, you're not going to play the final season and in fact are going to air your own creation of how the show should end. That would bring even more viewers to the channel when you eventually get there, because people will be so invested and want to know how you decide to conclude the show.
It's just going to be me yelling into a video on my phone of what I think is going to happen. I'm just going to detail, I'm going to have a script written out and I'm just going to do it myself.
This is what happens.
I'm very depressed and disappointed with the 1.0.
Heath is struggling right now.
I'm not happy.
This is
I'm happy for Jordan. I wanted year 4 of Hushmanzada.
Year 4 of Hushmanzada, by the way, because I know you're curious, 978 yards, which would have given me the 101.
Didn't he have a monster year? I thought he did.
He had a monster year in 2007 where he had 1,143 yards on 112 catches and 12 touchdowns.
I guess I was way high.
That was his age 30 season. Well done, TJ Hushmanzada.
Yeah, he was the 1A too. It was Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
Nobody was taking TJ that high that year.
Well done.
Yeah, I deserve it. It's okay.
103. I could have expected this show would have fallen to me, but I'm going to take it happily. We're running with The Office. Perfect rewatchable show. People will binge that show. The Office is the clear and obvious choice to start my my TV channel.
I don't know that my wife will allow me to continue that I did not get to draft The Office tonight.
Oh,
now,
this has been a rough draft for you. Rough intro to the RB1 podcast.
Yeah, I was hoping for Thrones or The Office to start out with. Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't really have any choices. That's what happens when you get the turn. So I just have to take what's there. And for me, I'm going with Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
As far as watchability and likability, I think that's what you guys left me with. So, which I love. I love this show. I'm still disappointed with Thrones and The Office being gone.
Surprisingly, Heath picks the first show that I have not seen.
What?
Yeah.
Welcome to Clark's world.
I know of it. I know it exists. You
ever watched The Goonies, Clark?
Yes.
It's The Goonies, straight up. Just a TV show.
I just decide to have aversions to things based on really, really poor and little information. And someone said that to me once, and I'm really opposed to things I loved as a child being rehashed to get my money and attention as an adult. I think that's why I didn't watch it, but that's not a good reason. That's just what's going on up here.
So, Clark, do you say that you're an avid viewer of the Lady and the Tramp live action reboot that Disney put on Disney Plus?
Was not aware of that.
I like the pick because so far Heath has picked the only show still continuing, and you never know. I think they're only making 5 seasons of it, but you never know if maybe you decide to spin it off. You got a bunch of young actors in the very beginning of their career. You could just sign them to basically residency on the Heath channel.
I appreciate Jordan making my point for me. Yes, I do think they mentioned 5 seasons, so we'll see. It's not a rehashing, Clark. It's just it's the same brand of humor with the kids. The one-liners are legendary in Stranger Things.
It is very good.
Dustin is fantastic.
Mhm.
So the humor is awesome. All right. I appreciate you guys stalling while I figured out what to do.
Hey man, in any draft, you have to have instant analysis that ultimately proves to be more or less wrong, like 5 months into their career.
I think that I have it though, and I'm torn because there's 2 shows that I really want to grab. So I'm hoping that I'm more of a geek than you 3, and that the one I'm not taking comes back to me. So I'm going to go with Friday Night Lights as the second choice. The Office being the only comedy the wife and I have watched together, and Friday Night Lights is the only drama that she and I have totally made it through together. And that's a show that I have lobbied for with people. Like it's a very good drama.
It's a great show.
With football like as the backdrop. Like it's not just football. The drama is fantastic. And I call it the great uniter. Like men and women, like there's something for everybody in that show. Coach is amazing. Coach's wife is amazing. I love the character. I love that they killed the football hero / cheerleader dynamic with Street and what's the brunette girl's name? I forgot. What's her name? Garrity.
There you go.
Lila Garrity.
Lila.
But in the first episode they build up this mythic Jason Street, hero type, and then they just absolutely obliterate it. And like I remember being pissed after the first episode. Like, I'm done with this show. I'm not watching it anymore. And I had a roommate at the time that was like, no, just watch the second one.
Keep doing it.
Just watch the second one. So yeah, I love that.
I will say that Friday Night Lights, there are a ton of other great shows out there. Critically, you might call them better, but Friday Night Lights has the single best pilot episode I've ever seen. It is the only one where it's only taken me one episode to be like, oh my God, this show is awesome. I can't believe
it was super
that
ballsy.
all just happened one episode. Yeah. And it felt so good to watch. Like usually it takes me like a couple episodes. At least 3. I give episodes like hour-long TV shows, especially give them like 3 episodes, and if they don't hook me, but episode 1, I was like, holy shit, I'm in.
It's 2 sides of my mouth. Like I was super disappointed with Street, but it was phenomenal, and like a big risk that they did what they did. And Clark is noticeably quiet. I assume this is a show that he has not watched.
I know of Friday Night Lights, but I have not. I have not watched it.
I was right. Gold. Come on, man! It's football, Clark.
Oh, I don't have
it's
anything.
About Texas football too.
I know, and that's what's in there. Of like, I robble. Yeah, don't worry about me. I'm glad y'all are happy.
I'm sure you've heard all the arguments to watch it before.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a podcast of just Clark defending why he hasn't seen famous shows.
Yeah, and all of the reasons you'll pick up a trend are dumb. Right. So. Yeah.
I like what Heath is doing here because it's an important thing when you're drafting your TV channel for maximum viewership is you want to have a breadth of a variety of genres. Otherwise, you don't want to just, be one focus. You don't want to be a Comedy Central. And
that's only how to build my team, Pete.
I'm sorry, Clark. Let me just tell you how I'm building my team. Clark, I'm not going to know any of the shows on your team, so.
You know The Wire. There's my broad appeal. That's going to be my Macy's.
That's perfect. I like it.
Macy's we used to have anchor stores in malls. You'll figure it out.
Can it be broad if I haven't seen it?
Good point.
I haven't seen it. I'm pretty mainstream, and I haven't seen it. I'm just saying.
Pick 202 on the snake.
Clark.
I am taking. We're going drama here to pair with The Office. We're going to go with one of the greatest dramatic shows of the last 5 years, certainly, maybe even 10. And we're going to do Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
First season's great.
Is that all you saw?
I got nothing. I never watched it. I'm sorry.
I will say, we were talking about this before. I don't know if we were recording at the time. Ozark. Sorry. Tell Becca that Ozark is like Breaking Bad in the sense that it scratches that exact same itch.
Perfect.
If you're craving more Breaking Bad style shows, then Ozark scratches that itch for sure.
Nice. I have seen all of the Pinnacle episodes or the Pinnacle. Becca always tells me that I use Pinnacle wrongly or not right. I have seen all of the Pinnacle. Penultimate is the word I always fuck up.
Second to last. Yep.
Yep. Pinnacle episodes of Breaking Bad. So I've seen like all of the highs, but I've missed all of the kind of in between episodes, and so I haven't seen the full show through, but I know all of the like climaxes that occur, and I'm just like, I don't really want to sit through a couple episodes of kind of plot building when I already know how this is going to conclude. So, but Breaking Bad gets the people, and I've heard it's very rewatchable. It's very great. It's going to get very many eyes. Jordan, 203. What are you taking?
Oh man, this came back fast to me, huh? You know what? I'm going to keep on building my HBO roster and go with one of my other favorite shows. I'm going with Succession because it's still on the air, so I'm still going to get.
Is it really? I thought it was over.
Well, it's only on the second season. It just finished the second season.
Oh my God.
They're going to keep having more seasons than two.
They're going to have more Successions?
Yes, more seasons of Succession is always a good thing. I don't care that my channel so far is like 18 and up. Don't watch these shows with your children, probably. Game of Thrones, definitely do not. But if you like good dramas about rich people doing asshole things, then it's a great show for you.
And who doesn't like that? Clark, we're back to you.
I love it. I need various shows about that in my life.
All right. I'm excited. So the rest of my draft is set up. I've got some sleepers that I know, or that I'm relatively confident are not on anyone's board. I was just hoping these would make it back to me. Pete,
Clark, hold on. Clark just said like all our picks suck, right? That's basically what he just said.
No.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Pete,
pretty sure.
You're not supposed to tell the young people
what Clark means.
Like, yes. I'm excited you guys didn't take any of my shows.
That's right. Good. This is going to be like the Fox News of our generation. Not that it's bad, but just that old people like it. So, in the vein of The Office, we're going with Parks and Rec. We got to have some,
you son of a bitch.
We got to have some comedy. Leslie Knope and Ron Swanson. I don't really feel like I need to say any more on that.
I was hoping that was going to bend back to me. I didn't want to go back-to-back comedy, but excellent selection, Clark.
Yeah, and then number 3, we're going to go with our first.
It's one of those.
What's that?
I was going to say it's one of those rare comedies that just gets better, like season after season. Some of them always fall off towards the last, like 1 or 2 seasons, like The Office. But
yeah, it does. Yeah.
Parks and Rec continues to climb throughout the end.
Yeah, once everyone on your favorite shows start dating, that's how you know the end is near. And I think Parks and Rec managed that pretty well.
I would agree. What are you going for your 301? How you
so
start
we're going a little bit educational. A long running show by the great Alton Brown. We're going with Good Eats on the Barnes Network.
Nice.
I've heard that's good. I haven't watched it, but I've definitely heard that it's a good show, and it's not a procedural. Is that what you call it? Like each one's pretty self-contained.
Yeah, it's a how to cook show, and it explains like why you do all of the things that you do to cook. So it's a little bit nerdy and a little bit culinary.
That's good. I like that.
You may know Alton Brown from Top Chef America. That was unfortunate.
That's what Becca and I are currently watching. We're currently watching the most recent season of Top Chef, and we do a fantasy draft with that where we take 5 different chefs and we have a point system awarded for if they win quick fires and if they win competitions. So we're currently a couple episodes in that. I'm crushing her, but
good job, Pete.
Thanks.
Just to be, I don't know how lame it is, but we don't do cable in my house, so we subscribe to everything. I don't know if that fits you guys or not, but if we did do cable, I would definitely be watching some form of cooking show. Like it's
Top Chef is on Hulu.
It's we don't do Hulu, but
Top Chef's not.
I feel like
cooking show.
He's like, we don't do cable, we do internet shows, but we don't do Hulu. We only do Netflix.
just not Hulu. So 7-year-old daughters, Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Netflix, CBS. I don't know. No Hulu.
I don't really like forced competition shows. Like if you say wars after your thing, I feel like that's really demeaning to what war is. Top Chef isn't quite as bad because they don't call it like Chef Wars, which fuck you if you do a show like that. But yeah, I just like to learn stuff and then watch funny people do funny stuff. So that's kind of my bag. Anyway, I'll get off this high horse.
No, I like this. You bring up a very good point that using wars in your time, like Star Wars, George Lucas. Come on.
Totally the point, Pete. You nailed it.
From what I understand, cooking shows are just streamed like crazy on Netflix and whatnot with like the Great British Baking.
Oh,
that was
baking show.
So close.
Jordan, is that what you're taking? Because if it's not, spoiler alert.
I have not have any cooking shows on my cheat sheet here.
You only get that at the Barnes Network. So when you're thinking about where to spend your $6.99 for streaming service, think about that.
Oh, ours is $6.89. So,
I mean, you can go with the cheaper option, and that's all that some people can afford. But if you want a nicer option, come over here to us.
Jordan, what are you taking? What are you taking? 302.
This is tough because I still have a couple shows in my my top tier here, but I'm going to grab this one before it's gone because The Office and Parks and Rec are already taken, and this might be a hot take, but this is my favorite 30-minute comedy in the same vein, and it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes,
I'm drafting that. My channel is a little too adult right now, so I got to have something a little bit funnier that you can watch with all the kids. And who doesn't like a little Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Andy Samberg, Terry Crews, Captain Holt slays me.
Yeah,
I was very pleasantly surprised by the few episodes that I've seen of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was right next to getting so popular that I was going to refuse to see it, oddly. But, very strong show.
It was flirting with that line, but Clark got in before it crossed.
They got me too quick, yeah. So strong choice.
Yeah, I love that show. And again, it's still running, which is I need to take that into consideration. A still running show means you have.
It survived a channel flip, so I think that the audience will follow me to my channel as well.
That's smart. God damn it, that's smart. That is really, really smart. All right. In that vein. Oh, okay.
Are you going to do another procedural cop comedy?
I'm going to do another procedural cop comedy. Brooklyn 3-9. No.
You get all 46 seasons of Blue Bloods.
I am going to do.
Don't.
Hold on. What's the beef, Clark? Come on. What's wrong with it?
He's just jealous of Tom Selleck's mustache.
It's fine for what it is.
Despite my 101, I really don't like the aggrandization and of the police force. They're not all crooks. Some of them certainly are. A lot of them are the best people in the world, but I just really don't like this whole I know I picked The Wire 101, but got a lot of problems with those kinds of shows. So.
It's fair. Well, I'm going to pick a show. I'm going to pick a show that is not does not paint anything in a good light.
Is not going to get letters written to Pete. Sorry, Pete.
Still running, changed networks, you could say. So I'm taking all of the things that I learned from Jordan, I'm applying them here. I am taking all 15 seasons that they're currently on of Always Sunny.
Ooh,
that's strong. Yeah,
that's a strong choice.
Slipping to the third round, that's surprising.
Yeah, and that's going to run on, I don't know, Tuesday night when you want to feel just shitty.
I had no idea that one was still running.
I think they're on their like their 15th or 16th season or something like that.
That's insane. I
feel like the last
go away for a year or two.
I feel like it did. I feel like at the end of for like the last 3 years, at the end of every season, they're like tie it up to be the end of the show, and then it somehow gets brought back. So, power to them.
I was told to watch it, so I watched like the entirety of Always Sunny last year. So I don't know if there was any like actual gaps in whether the show was still on the air for
I think
consistently.
There might have been one or two times that it did. I know it went from it was like part of the reason FX created FXX, so they like shifted so that they're like late night. I don't know. But anyways, that is a show that is very difficult to binge watch because after like 4 episodes in a row, you just feel gross. I'll speak for myself. I feel gross. I feel like I am just watching these terrible people do terrible things. Heath, coming to that snake.
Awesome. Hey, we're doing 5, correct?
We're doing 5. So
I don't
actually,
know why.
after your pick, Heath, before we go back to the snake, we're going to take a quick ad break. So make sure you stick around.
So 1 pick, and then I'm
one
pausing.
pick, and then I'm interrupting you.
Okay. Oh, man. All right. I don't know how lame this is for you guys or not, but it's stealing from Jordan's smart book. This one is still running, and it has been running for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Any guesses?
It's The Simpsons.
No.
Law and Order.
Oh!
No. Not The
Already
Simpsons.
Simpsons in my notes.
Simpsons on my list, though. Now it's out there.
Now
No,
we know.
I'm going with Survivor.
Is it SVU? Oh, Survivor.
I'm gonna go with Survivor. Season 40 right now, and on my network, we'll have to get away from some of the pretty boy, pretty girl washboard ab stuff, and bring back some people that actually have some substance and get a little bit more quality. But I still love the show. We still watch it in my house, and I applied. So if Probst hears this, you can call me up. I drafted you in round 3.
There you go.
But I knew
Plus,
these guys.
if you own the show on your channel, you could go on whenever you wanted.
This is true.
Drafts are an evaluation of the market's value, not the value that you put on the show.
Exactly.
So we really need Heath on Survivor, guys.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
This is the new mission of the RB1 podcast, is to get Heath on Survivor.
My quarantine body is ready. I'm good. I'm like running, working out every day. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Bingo. All right. Before we get to Heath's bending of the snake, we're going to take a quick ad break. All right. We are back. And before we get to Heath's pick, let's do a quick recap of how the draft has gone so far.
I would like to say I'm not against the police. I just don't like this us versus them thing that some of these shows create, as though one group is perfect and the other group is terrible. Just anything like that. So thanks, Pete.
Good. There you go. I got you covered, Clark. All right, quick recap. Clark has The Wire, Parks and Rec, and Good Eats. Jordan has Game of Thrones, Succession, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I have drafted The Office, Breaking Bad, and Always Sunny. And Heath has Stranger Things, Friday Night Lights, and Survivor. And we are back to Heath's first pick of the 4th round, 401. What are you taking?
Oh, man. All right. So this is where I think I totally go and do my thing and don't care about what anybody thinks. So it's going to be like this whole genre is how I waste my life, and it's always been true. So I'm going to go with you guys aren't going to pick either one of these. So I'm going to go with Spartacus.
There's a show called Spartacus.
There's a show called Spartacus, Clark.
Interesting. The movie is great. Charlton Heston, fantastic.
No,
I'm Spartacus.
More recent than that, and it admittedly took a hit. I don't know if you guys followed it enough to know that they lost the lead actor to cancer.
Oh, bummer.
Probably, I want to say 2 seasons through, maybe. So they had this like weird little short season where it was all like a prequel while they figured out what to do with who was going to take over the Spartacus role. So Andy Whitfield, I can't remember what cancer, but it definitely took a hit when it lost him. But that whole genre for me is just, I don't know. It's how I waste my life. Swords and blood and a little romance.
Nice. It's
Katrina
like Game
Law.
of Thrones B.
It's Game of Thrones without the magic, obviously, for sure, since it was loosely based on a real person. Very loosely. But they lost Whitfield, but they gained Katrina Law, who I love. So there was some, there was a nice little segue.
Nice.
Spartacus. If you don't like swords, you're not going to like my channel. I'm very disappointed that we don't have Game of Thrones. I'm very disappointed.
I feel like you need a historical drama with just excessive amounts of violence.
Yeah.
Because you got to give the people what they want.
The people do want that.
We're probably going to have 2 on mine, at least. There's no way you guys take it. No way.
I am in a real bind right now because I've already decided what my 5th pick is going to be. And so I now need to figure out what my 4th pick is going to be. And I have so many to choose from, but I think I am going to go with a show. Okay, I'm going to go with a show that's still running. Another comedy. It's one of my favorite shows. Becca and I freaking love it. We've binge watched it multiple times, but it is currently out, so it's very rewatchable. And that is the glorious show Schitt's Creek.
I haven't seen it.
I was debating between that and New Girl, but Schitt's Creek has overtook it in my book. So I am all aboard. It's hilarious. Would completely recommend if you have not seen it. It is a show where, like we had talked about earlier, it's a show where you have to give it a lot of, when we recommend it to our friends, they watch the pilot and they're like lukewarm on it. And it's like, you have to get 4 or 5 episodes into it because it's kind of Arrested Development-esque how they build on jokes and the characters kind of really develop. But it is a excellent show. Big fan.
Well, we will be subscribing. Just very popular with the missus.
Oh yeah,
household.
Yes. I've won Clark over to my channel.
Pete with 3 comedies right now. 3 comedy
Pete
shows,
with 3
right?
comedies. Pete does not believe in drama. Pete believes in humor constantly, as you might have guessed.
Everyone I know who's watched Schitt's Creek have just loved it. So
yeah, it's incredible. Jordan,
Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy, Catherine
and
O'Hara,
his wife. There we go.
Yep, they're all. It's incredible. 404, Jordan.
This is tough because the last one, it wasn't in my top tier, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I still love it. And that was for everybody else. I think I got to pick a show for me now. All right, I'm going to go with Atlanta because it's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's a really phenomenal, like weird, irreverent show. And that one's just for all like the weirdos who just love really good TV that just challenges how like typical TV in that sense of 30-minute shows usually handles itself. So that one's definitely for me, but if you watch it, it's a good binge for you. And it's still running. So
yeah.
Is that one?
Show.
Is that comedy? I don't know. I don't know that one.
It has funny
Dramedy?
parts. It's like a dramedy more.
So Pete, you're out.
Yeah, Donald Glover.
Oh, I've seen it. It's great.
Keith
I love
Stanfield.
It's a great show.
Yeah,
and
George's a lot of
right.
up and coming performers too. So
it's I love shows, and this does a great job of it. Atlanta does it, and in recent seasons, BoJack Horseman kind of does it too, where it shows that like really fiddle around with like the storytelling premise of a typical 30-minute episode and like what you can do in that time, which I find shows that are allowed to kind of explore how to construct an episode and how to create that is I think are really cool. Clark Burns.
I'm just gonna spoil one part because it's not really.
Oh, Jordan, go ahead. Spoil away.
Oh, I was just gonna give an example of how like weird it is. Just it's not really a spoiler because it doesn't affect the whole show. But they have an episode where there's just a black Justin Bieber, and like they don't explain it. They just he's just Justin Bieber and he's a black guy. That's it.
Interest is
Clark's hooked.
I don't like explaining things. I watch zombie movies. I don't need to know why they're zombies. I'm in. Like, got it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
405 before we hit the snake, before we hit the final round. Clark, what do you got?
So really, really surprised that this has come around to me. I thought this was kind of a pipe dream, but I had to lock down these first 3. So really excited to announce that the Barnes Network is going to be hosting the Red Zone program.
Oh, Clark Barnes.
I feel like we all slept on that one.
That's good.
Clark is really, you're doing a good job here, Clark. And you amazingly have your favorite show sitting in the top of the 5th round. Clark, how did you end up with Friends in the 5th round? Wow.
No, Pete, no.
You know what? We did say Sunday through Thursday, so Clark just grabs like 12 hours of programming on Sunday. Like he
This is
just
true.
owns
This is true.
Sunday until the evening.
Clark just locked down the entire day of Sunday on his channel.
And there's no other football on.
And there's
so
no
far.
this
So,
is a move. Wow. Well done,
very
Clark.
excited.
You are thinking here with the most eyes. You are getting it. I don't feel like that needs an explanation.
It's absolutely contrary to what he said he was going to do when he drafted.
It's true.
I don't care about eyes. I'm just going to take what I.
So
You said that. You said
Clark
This
throws
is a
everyone
live
off.
draft. You got to
Yeah.
juke. You got to
Damn.
juke and jive to get who you want.
You're putting together a good channel here, Clark. What's your final piece of the puzzle? 501.
So we are gonna be a little mature here. Unfortunately, we're gonna round out the programming with BBC World News.
Nice.
Boring, but you got to get your information from
But
somewhere
effective.
other than Twitter.
Heath is just going to give us Spartacus and Spartacus 2.0.
Yeah. I hate the news. No,
Good
I'm.
man.
You know,
Do you want to put some disclaimers on it since Clark, just like Clark did with the police?
no. Just it's all terrible.
It's fair. It's fair.
I'm sorry. I got nothing. Nothing against your pick, Clark.
Oh, I
fine.
take no offense. I'm with you.
Fine.
That's why I went with the BBC because nothing we make in America is worth it.
This is true. I co-sign absolutely.
Smart channel building there, Clark. Jordan, what's your final pick?
Oh man, this is tough. See, with the reality, like the cooking type shows, Survivor, the news, I thought about maybe I should draft something to complete my lineup, something that's a little bit more closely steeped in reality, but I don't know if I'm gonna go that route. I think I'm gonna go a different way here.
See, this is live draft phenomenon. Everybody else starts taking QBs, and you're like, "Oh crap! Do I need to take QB too?" And then you get off the plan. How did I end up with MSNBC?
I think we need to go full
Damn
here.
it!
You know what? I am going to round out my picks with a new show that I've started to watch and I actually just fell in love with, and it's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, great show.
It's I feel like it's a little bit of a sleeper pick getting it here in the last round, but my girlfriend turned me on to it, and she loves the show, and I started loving it too. And I realized I had no idea what it was about, but I was already making judgments on it, and I just needed to dive in and do that. I feel like it's a good idea for me to have a female driven show on my channel, on my program.
That's smart. It is a great show. It is oh my God, what's her name?
Basil.
Yeah.
Mrs. Maisel, Rachel Brosnahan.
Yes. No. But who's the writer? It's Amy Gina Pello or something like that. But she did Gilmore Girls. Yes. She did Gilmore Girls. This genre, her Mrs. Maisel is much better suited to her writing style, and it plays very well. It's a very good show. Very
It's
interesting.
the same writer who did Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's that same kind of like really fast, witty dialogue, and it just plays a lot better in this setting. In like as opposed to was fine in Gilmore Girls, but in Maisel it's a lot better.
I'm totally fine with Gilmore Girls. I'm not drafting it, but
It's a great show. I think Maisel's better.
I feel like Maisel will help me with the older folks because it'll remind them of the 50s, and it's colorful and loud, so it's something that will keep attention.
Nice. My final pick to round out my channel. I was bouncing between two shows. I've settled on the one that I think will get the most eyes because that is what we are here to do. I have a lot of great written shows, but you need some reality television. You need a show that people are going to tune in and watch and just tweet about and joke about and get memes out of. You need that good internet content. And so adding to my channel is the final draft pick of Peter Rogers' channel. I'm taking The Bachelor.
I can safely say I've never seen an episode of The Bachelor and or The Bachelorette.
It doesn't matter. I have brought in a huge crowd of people.
I have, and you're all right for not watching it. exactly what you think it would be.
It's
except
excellent.
worse.
It was
Dean, I'm happy for you.
Thank you, Clark. It was between The Bachelor or the show that I absolutely love and I'm currently rewatching for the second time, Vanderpump Rules, which is another great trashy reality show.
I mean, I will say that like 90% of follows I have on Twitter are sports, and it amazes me that I still see people talk about The Bachelor.
Bachelor
Like,
transcends everything.
I do not get it. Like, I'm not judging it. I don't get it.
I'm judging it. I am, for the record.
It's super weird. All the sports personalities I follow just love
They love
Bachelor, and
It's crazy.
It's
It's
so goofy.
I know.
It does have a fantasy aspect to it, I guess.
Yeah, but I've now roped in a lot of big names. My channel is going to get sponsored by Mina Kimes.
The difference in my house is my wife kind of learned that lesson with like what I thought was terrible TV that she was watching, and I would make so much fun of it. So I plug in and I'm like, you watch whatever. Like it, otherwise it doesn't go well. Like I can't watch that anymore. Like why? Because you keep trashing it. So
yeah, I 100% agree that you do not have to watch the same shows as your significant other, because I too ruin just about everything that Katie tries to watch. So that just becomes reading time for me.
Yeah. Becca loves British crime shows, and I can only watch so many dead bodies.
Oh, there's some good ones.
There are.
Dang.
Broadchurch
There we go. That's what I
so
was thinking
good.
about.
That one's really good. That one's very good. But now she's
BBC World News. We might be able to negotiate some expansion from the BBC network. Pretty excited. We'll see. Lots of interesting things to come in the Barnes.
Good. Well, I roped you in with Schitt's Creek, and now you've roped me into your channel with BBC World / what the BBC channel has to offer in terms of crime dramas.
I'm going to be very American. I'm just going to draft all of the BBC.
Everything the BBC has to offer. Heath, why don't you wrap us up with the final pick in our TV channel extravaganza draft?
I'm scared. That feels like a lot of pressure.
I know. Better not be Spartacus.
A lot of broken dreams with this pick here.
Yeah.
A lot of folks that didn't make it.
A boulevard, I might say.
I got a little gust of wind here sitting outside. I don't know, man. There's so many shows left that I feel like we should have done maybe 10 rounds.
Yeah, there really are a lot of shows left.
We can go a full week.
We could just add
we only did 5
spontaneously.
days. Yeah, 8 more picks.
Yeah, I'm torn between like what's going to catch eyeballs and like what I like putting the Heath mark on it. And it's kind of a heavy channel, I think. Stranger Things, Friday Night Lights.
It's a lot.
Survivor's pretty light, but Spartacus, lots of blood. Yeah, I don't care. So nobody's gonna watch my show after a year or two. So this last one for me is something I'm still watching now. So stealing from the Jordan Smart book again. I think the last season 4 is going to air at the end of April on Netflix. It's a show that people don't talk about as much as I think they should, because if you like this genre, I think it's fantastic. It's called The Last Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Has anybody seen it?
I have not, but I've heard about it, and it does entice me.
Yeah, it's straight up on the same veins as Spartacus. I mean, lots of swords, lots of kingdom building in like early Britain, Saxons, Danes, tons of fighting. One dude trying to like win back his homeland, lots of romance or some romance.
Because I do love those like historical reimaginings, like Peaky Blinders. I fucking love that show.
Yeah, and this one's based on a real guy who we kind of don't know a whole lot about, named Uhtred. Kind of an interesting name. But he's a mix of like Saxon, and he like gets captured and lives with the Danes, and there's this little parallel between like this emerging Britain and like the character that he is, because he's lived with both tribes. And but for me, like I read the other day where season 4 is dropping in April, and I got excited. I thought Netflix was doing me a solid in my quarantine. Like April 1st, here it is, and it's like April 26th. So
what are we doing, Netflix?
I don't know what we're doing.
So that's on Netflix?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. Three seasons sitting there waiting on you, Jordan.
Nice. I do like, especially with Netflix shows, if there's like an end game, like when you know it's about to end, because they just dump every episode right away, and then you watch it in a weekend, and then you have to wait a full like 362 or 3 days to watch another season. So I like that.
So I will say this one
game like that.
Somebody recommended this one to me, maybe somebody from work, and I kind of turned it on, and like the first 2-3 episodes, I just kind of let it play, and I'm like, yeah, this is okay. And then before I knew it, I had seen the whole first 2 seasons, and like I really liked this show, so it just grew on me. So nobody's gonna watch my show after like a year. Everybody's
Your channel
gone.
is on
It's
fire.
It's pretty lame. It's lame for the rest of you guys, but I'll like it.
Hey, I like your first 2 picks were right on. Stranger Things and Friday Night Lights. It's a good start.
We'll see. We'll see what the people say.
We tailed off.
That's fine. Say it.
Yeah, there were a lot of shows on my list that I didn't even touch that I thought were gonna go. So
I want to honorable mention a Devi Squad YouTube channel that I really like called Vice Grip Garage.
Perfect.
Kind of a mix between auto repair and the old Red Green show. And if you don't know what that means, you should just watch the show.
You won't enjoy Clark's channel.
Yeah, take that. That's my Devi pick.
Nice.
No Big Bang Theory.
Oh no,
I had that one on. No,
no,
I like it.
No way.
No,
Really?
I do not like Big Bang Theory.
I
will say, in my tier 1 that I still had. So these guys are honorable mention now. I'm apparently just a very big HBO boy. I have Silicon Valley, Westworld, and Euphoria still up there that I was considering. But my channel would have been a little sad if I kept on picking dramas. And Silicon Valley is hilarious, though. Super funny if you like that sort of thing.
30 Rock, Bob's Burgers, SpongeBob SquarePants.
No children programming.
True Detective.
Really...
I know. I could have really sealed that market in with SpongeBob. And SpongeBob SquarePants has like 16 seasons or something absurd like that too. So that's another long running show. But yeah,
no cartoons for me. Entourage. Yes.
Entourage. Not something I watched all the way through, but definitely something we definitely.
Plus, then you get the movies or movie.
Right.
I mean, what are we doing?
What
here?
else? Lost. Anybody?
That I hated that show, but Becca loves it, and it'll certainly get eyes.
So it didn't get a draft for me. I hated the last 2 seasons, but
I mean,
up until like season 4-ish, maybe halfway through 4, it was pretty solid.
Except for, okay, we can go soon, but I have to vet anytime Lost gets brought up. But the fact that the kid can bring anything to life that he sees in a drawing and they don't do anything with that for the rest of the show is just aggravating beyond hell. That they introduced this like super cool power this kid has, and then they're like, well, nope, nothing's going to happen of it. Like he's not just going to like imagine a boat. And I understand that the whole thing is like an allegory for whatever, or they're all in limbo or whatever it is. But whatever.
I don't know. I stopped watching. I don't know.
That's a dumb show.
I watched that show when it was like first on TV, and I think I was in like middle school or high school or whatever. It was like the first show I watched week to week where it made me feel like an adult. Yeah. But I maybe it was because I was just a kid and couldn't understand anything, but it was just too confusing to me. I was like, you know what? I get 3 questions answered in each episode, and then I have 10 more questions. And I'm like, I watched like 3 seasons, and I'm like, I just can't anymore.
Yeah, that for me was college, maybe junior yearish, maybe. House full of, we had 4 guys, and we would like cook dinner and sit down and watch Lost. So there's some good memories attached to it just from being in college and hanging out. But it definitely tailed off at the end, which is why I didn't draft it.
That's fair. Awesome. Well, there you go. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, the whole 9 yards. We are there. Follow us on Twitter at RB1 Podcast. We will send out our channels, and we can vote. You guys can vote then on who had the better channel, what channel you'd watch. Also, let us know what 5 shows would be in your channel if you were constructing the perfect channel to get the most eyeballs. You can follow myself on Twitter at Pete M. Rogers. Follow Clark at NFL Clark. Jordan at Jordan_Smith27. And Heath, you can follow at Heath Capps. That's with 2 P's.
Mm-hmm. Nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah, you got it. I just hope you guys have a show after me being on here.
No, we are going to lose our entire listenership because of you, Heath. I hope you're happy.
I told you. You asked.
Talk to you guys next week. Until then, peace.